Hello, listeners, and welcome to yet another episode of the Nigerian Football Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Oke. Today is episode 135, and today will be officially the last episode we have for this season, where we'll be talking about club football and how our Nigerian players have performed in their various leagues all over the world, in particular Europe. Watch out for the content today. I'm recording this a day before the Elite Cup game against Ghana, taking place tomorrow at the Brentford GTEC Stadium, which we'll be attending. So I'm going to also be releasing another video with a quick preview of the game against Ghana, just to give my thoughts on what I expect the anticipated X-side to be, and also a score prediction with the limited information we have. Also, as part of today's episode, we'll do a quick rundown of who's played and how they've got on this week, and then we'll be doing an end of season awards special, just to talk about how our players have performed, and of course recognizing the best of the best. It's been a long, hard season. Today is 27th of May, so it's been a slog. We've been at it since August, September, October, November, December, literally 10 months. So it's been a very exciting season for Nigerian footballers as usual. So we just want to give our recognition to those who have shone brighter, or the brighter, so to speak. So without any further ado, starting with the usual podcast, what have been the standout performers for this week? Only two, because a lot of the seasons have already ended, as you know. But this past weekend saw a lot of the big leagues also end, in particular the Premier League and also Serie A. The Bundesliga had already ended previously. We also saw La Liga end this weekend. So, standout performers for this week, we have to start with Christantus Uche. Also, congratulations to him being called up to the Nigerian national team. Also, I just wanted to say, shout out to the Super Falcons. They've got a new kit coming out. But today's jersey is sponsored by them. I think Nike have really hit it out of the park when it comes to the Super Falcons kits, and they've created two new bangers, to be honest, which I'll be looking to get my hands on once they're released by Nike. So support the women's. The African Women's Cup of Nations takes place later this summer. And of course, we hope Nigeria will be able to retake our crown, which we lost to Morocco 2 years ago. So anyway, just wanted to do a cheeky shout out on that. Startup performance, Christantus Uche. Goal assist for Getafe over the weekend. Fantastic assist for Borja Mayoral. I mean, this is a player that's just on the top of his game, Annoyingly, they lost this game, but it was great to see Uche finish the season with a goal and an assist in his final two games. I think this guy really has the potential to be a game breaker for the Nigerian national team, and he's a very important part of Getafe. You can already say by the way he plays, he's already looking like he's too good for Getafe, but we must acknowledge it's his first season in the big leagues. He'll probably give them another year, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him make a move in the summer, because that's a serious player that we have on our hands, and I'm looking forward to seeing him making his debut for the Nigeria national team, hopefully tomorrow. Also, Samuel Chukwueze had a pretty good game to end the season for AC Milan. He got an assist for AC Milan with a well-taken corner kick, which was headed in by, I think it was Gabia. Anyway, really good header, but really good corner kick taken from Samuel Chukwueze, which is surprising to see, because a lot of our deliveries on the national team are not very good. But that was pretty good to see. He played 45 minutes in this game, and he definitely made his 45 minutes count. Overall, we know it's not been a good season for him, but we know that a new manager is coming into AC Milan. We're not yet sure at the moment who it's going to be. They just announced a new director of football, a few days ago. So a lot of changes happening at AC Milan for sure. And we know they'll have quite a few ins and outs in terms of transfers. The likes of João Felix probably go back to Chelsea. So let's see what happens with Chukwueze. But hopefully he needs next season to go very, 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 very well for him, and hopefully he could get some good vibes playing for the national team over the coming fortnight before he goes on his actual holiday. Once again, as usual, thanks to all our subscribers, listeners, followers. We appreciate all of you. We're now at 1,890 subscribers, so as I said, we're looking to get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube pretty soon, and obviously we have a year-end goal of getting to 5,000. So if you're enjoying the content and you haven't subscribed, please just take a minute to just press the bell. I promise you, we will not bombard you or disturb you. It just helps the algorithm and helps us to get more visibility and bring this content about Nigerian football to the rest of the world, which is something that's always a pleasure to do for myself. So please click that button and subscribe now, and like and share with your fellow friends who like this content. Anyway, just to round up with the player reviews for this week. In the Premier League, we saw Aina play 3 minutes. Taiwo Awoniyi, of course, could not play after his injury scare, but it was nice to see him get a nice reception in the City ground by the Nottingham Forest fans. It wasn't good news for Nottingham Forest, to be fair. I think it's safe to say that Aina and his teammates are pretty much spent. It's been a long season. They've played so well, but, just towards the end, it's just gone a bit too difficult for them. And they got packed in 1-0 by Chelsea. Really good goal by Levi Colwell. And it must be said that Chelsea were the better team and deserved the Champions League spot. To be honest, if I remove my hating brain, I like when the OG clubs make it to the Champions League because, you have a better chance of playing well. And let's be honest, all of us performing in Europe, our performances all affect the coefficient. So we need better teams playing in Europe, which is what would then enable us to continue to have these 5 spots in the Champions League season after season. So look out for that one. But commiserations for Aina and team. I've been seeing a lot of team of the seasons and they've put in Munoz in there. I think Aina is very lucky not to be in there. I think his injury towards the end of the season just counted against him slightly because he's had an absolutely brilliant season by all accounts and measures. But anyway, good to see them still end the season in Europe. They will be playing in the UEFA Conference League, and you must say Nottingham Forest probably have a great chance of winning that tournament, considering the level of the teams in there and how good Nottingham Forest will expect to be. Even retooling in the summer for next season. Also, the Fulham boys, Alex Iwobi played 29 minutes while Bassey was on the bench. Fulham lost 2-0 to Man City on Sunday, but let's be honest, Fulham are already on the beach. They're already in Cancun. It's time for them to chill and relax, which they deserve massively. Iwobi played all 38 games. I think that has to be commended. It's the second time he's done it in his career, and he's the only Nigerian to do this twice in his career. And I think he's only the 6th Nigerian player ever to play all 38 games in the Premier League season for their club. So Alex Iwobi, honestly, I think it's been the best season of his career, at least in terms of performances, and we just have to give Alex Iwobi a lot of praise. So shout out to you, Alex Iwobi. You've had an incredible year. Also, Wilfred Ndidi was not in the squad for Leicester, so it's likely he's played his last game for Leicester. Although, you never know, Ndidi might say he's happy to go to the championship again, which will make me very, very sad, especially because we have an AFCON to tackle in December. So we want our best players playing in the best leagues and performing at the highest level before that tournament. Also, Aribo was on the bench, but Onuachu got 20 minutes for Southampton in their 2-1 loss to my beloved Arsenal on Sunday. Shout out to Kieran Tierney for scoring in his last game for the Gunners. And Martin Odegaard, please shoot some more next year. You have it in your body, please. Feel free to unleash those shots. But it looks like we'll be seeing the last of Onuachu in the Premier League. I've seen some rumors that he may be heading back to Trabzonspor, and they're looking to cut a cut price deal to sign him. Remember, he did amazing things for Trabzonspor in his loan spells over there, and that's a club that really, really appreciates Onuachu. So let's see how that goes, and we'll be sure to bring you any information once that's confirmed. Other results in the final games of the Premier League season: Bournemouth beat Leicester City 2-0. Semenyo with another cracking goal to end the season. Wolves and Brentford drew 1-1. Brian Mbeumo scored his 20th Premier League goal of the season. I think he's only the 6th African player to ever score 20 league goals in the Premier League season. So that's not an achievement to be sniffed at all. Really, really impressive by Mbeumo. And I won't be surprised if he ends up at one of the big clubs or like a Newcastle will be playing in Champions League this summer. So watch this space when it comes to him. Also, Manchester United beat Aston Villa 2-0. Commiserations if we have any Aston Villa fans watching this. I thought you were very, very unlucky. That referee, Thomas Brundle, oh my God, what a mistake. Like, Bayern there, that goalkeeper is so useless. Like, Morgan Rogers literally got the ball cleanly, put the ball in the net, but then the referee had already blown the whistle, which meant the VAR could not intervene. But sometimes in football, you wonder if they just apply common sense. Like, can't they just surely just say, look, it's clear it should have been a goal. Fuck the ref's whistle. Give Aston Villa the 1-0. And this was 17 minutes to go. Next thing you know, 3 minutes after, Amad Diallo scores for Man United. And then Christian Eriksen scores a penalty in towards the end of the game to win the game 2-0 for Manchester United, who officially have moved from 16th place to, I think, 15th. So congratulations to Man United for not finishing 16th or 17th. Oh, a useless club. So that was pretty unlucky for Aston Villa. Also, Everton beat Newcastle at St. James's. This is what really made me sad, because if Aston Villa got that draw, Newcastle would have missed out on the Champions League, and that means it'll be easier to sign Alexander Isak. Although it's quite interesting how all the pundits assume that Isak is going to stay. How they know that in the summer he's not going to wake up and be like, you know what, I want to play for Arsenal or Liverpool, like, let me go, you know. But I think that's an interesting one to monitor. But of course, Newcastle will be feeling very good with themselves for making the Champions League spots. Liverpool drew 1-1 with Crystal Palace. Mohamed Salah scored his 29th Premier League goal of the season, and of course he had 18 assists, so for 7 goal contributions for the season. But the Thierry Henry 2020 mark lives on. For some reason, nobody's been able to get these 20 assist mark in the season, and you know, long may it continue. Let my God continue to shine, you know. And then West Ham beat Ipswich Town 3-1. I thought it was quite funny watching Mohamed Kudus score in this game. It's like, bro, where have you been all season? Jared Bowen scored 2 excellent goals, very lucky not to be in the England squad. And of course, Tottenham, fresh off winning the Europa League, got packed 4-1 by Brighton. So they officially finished 17th, but somehow they're going to play in the Champions League by virtue of winning the Europa League. So, Man United, thanks for being so useless, you bummy club right now, it must be said. Anyway, final league table, Liverpool win the league with 84 points, 25 wins from 38 games, 4 losses and 9 draws. Arsenal finished 10 points behind, 74 points. We lost the same number of games, but too many draws, 14 draws. That's over a third of your games ending at draws, which is not good enough. Man City finished a further 3 points behind from Arsenal in third place, 71 points. Considering where their season started, that's pretty good from them. Chelsea finished 4th, 69 points. After they started the season well and they told us they're not title contenders, it's been good to see them bounce back with 5 wins in their last 6 to finish 4th. And they, of course, have the opportunity to win the Conference League on Wednesday, tomorrow. And they could become the first ever team in world football to win the Champions League, the Europa League, as well as the Conference League. It's a bit of a non-starter because only 3 teams have ever won the Conference League, and it's just a competition that's been created recently. But hey, good luck to Chelsea in that one. Newcastle finished 5th, 66 points, so they finished above Aston Villa by virtue of their better goal difference, 21-7. Aston Villa will go into Europa League, and we know Emery is the specialist of the Europa League, so watch this space. And then 7th, Nottingham Forest with 65 points, and they will play in the Conference League. Commiserations to Brighton, who finished with 61 points, but they will not make Europe because Crystal Palace take one of the Europa League spots by winning the FA Cup. Bournemouth at 9th, Brentford at 10th, Fulham 11th, Crystal Palace 12th, Everton 13th with 48 points, West Ham 14th with 43 points, Manchester United finished 15th with 42 points. 42 points, that's how disgraceful they've been. And then Wolverhampton also have 42 points with 16, who finished 16th. Imagine they were bottom of the league when Vitor Pereira came, so shout out to him for the job he's gone there. So it looks like Matthias Cunha will be moving from the 16th best team to the 15th best team in the country. Tottenham finished 17th with 38 points. They didn't even make 40 points, and they lost 22 games out of the 38 Premier League games. And then, of course, the bottom relegated teams, Leicester, Ipswich, 25 and 22 points respectively, and Southampton with the Hall of Shame performance in the Prem with 12 points. 30 games lost out of 38. Good riddance to Southampton. We're looking forward to seeing Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland coming back to the Prem. Especially happy for Sunderland. They haven't been in the Premier League in 8-9 years, and of course it means the Newcastle fans will face their main rivals and stop trying to beg rivalries with teams that are above their pay grade. So yeah, that's it in terms of the Premier League. In Serie A, Lookman played 45 minutes in what was probably his last game for Atalanta. They lost 3-2 to Parma, but they already secured third place on Champions League qualification for the year. Lookman is in Lagos at the moment doing a homecoming. It was lovely to see the pictures of him arriving in the airport with his African Footballer of the Year award. So it's been good that he's also been given time to relax after all his excursions this season. It's quite interesting because he's probably even had a better statistical season this year compared to last year, although he doesn't have the heights of scoring a winning goal or a hat-trick in a European final like last year. Dele-Bashiru has also probably played his last game for Lazio. He didn't even play in their 1-0 loss to Lecce. They finished 7th, so I think they may get into the Conference League. Dele-Bashiru is on loan from Hatayspor, so let's see what happens in the summer. I know he's represented by Tosi Adarabioyo's brother's agency, so let's see what they can cook up there, because I mean, as much as I respect them, like, I'm not sure how they're advising Adarabioyo. Adarabioyo is going to be 28 later this year, and he's still doing Shakara for Super Eagles because he plays for Chelsea. I don't know what he's thinking is there. And, Nigerians, we don't like being looked at as second place, even though we need the centre-back. But for you to take this long to make a decision and not commit to the national team, it's not a very, very good sight. So it's just a bit of an interesting one when you think about the way they advise their players over there. But let's see what happens first for Dele-Bashiru at the end of the season. Chukwueze, we already mentioned his assist for AC Milan as they beat Monza 2-0. Maduka Okoye played 90 minutes and made 8 saves for Udinese. Unfortunately, they lost 3 to Fiorentina, but they finished the season in mid-table in 12th. And Ebuehi was on the bench for Empoli in their 2-1 loss to Verona on Sunday. Empoli will go to Serie B next year, so let's see what happens with Ebuehi, although he probably just needs the minutes to continue to get fit. In La Liga, we already spoke about Christantus Uche's exploits for Getafe. One thing I wanted to call out, though, is he's finished the season with 4 goals and 6 assists. So that's 10 GA contributions, double figures. And when you consider that he's only just turned 22 and he was able to start all these games for Getafe, who play pretty much negative football plus. Everybody knows about Bordela's ball. You have to say that it's been an incredible campaign for Christantus Uche, and the future is definitely bright for this superstar who I'm hoping to watch play tomorrow. Omar Sadiq played 56 minutes as Valencia drew 1-1 against Real Betis on Friday. Let's see what happens with him over the summer, because we know he's on loan from Real Sociedad. But he's done pretty well for Valencia, so they may make the move permanent, or he may go to another club. But you can see La Liga is where he shines best, so hopefully he stays in there. Ejuke came off the bench in the 87th minute as Sevilla lost 4-2 to Villarreal. Sevilla, very lucky, they just finished above the 3 relegated teams, and there's a lot of soul searching they need to do over the summer, because a team like Sevilla should not be finishing 17th in the league. Let's see what happens with Ejuke, but I suspect he will stay, and he really needs to establish himself a bit more. He's one of those frustrating players because he has all the tools, man, but his final product is just a bit lacking, and there's only so much you can get away when you're a dribbler. It's all well and good dribbling, but what are you doing with the dribbles? So let's see what happens with him. As for Hafiz Ibrahim in Ligue 1, Ligue 1 ended last week, but of course on Wednesday, Ream played Metz, which was the first leg of the relegation playoff. So the 16th team in Ligue 1 plays the 3rd best team in Ligue 2 in the playoff, and the first leg ended 1-1 against Metz away. So they'll be playing the second leg this week on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. And you'll be hoping that Ream will be able to win that game. Also, to make matters worse, he was not in the squad over the weekend, as Ream then had to play the Coupe de France final against PSG. And of course, they lost 3-1 to the champions of France. Barcola scored 2 and Hakimi scored 1. I think there's a world where if Hakimi wins the Champions League, he may have a case for being the Ballon d'Or, Hakimi's been amazing this year, when you think about the way he's performed. Yes, they may give it to Ousmane Dembele, but I think Hakimi's got a pretty good shout. Fuck all this talk about Yamal, Salah. I'm sorry, let's see who is the Champions League first. He's still the main coco, but I think it's been quite an interesting season. But good luck to Hafiz Ibrahim. He's established himself in Ream's squad, and he can only get better next season. He's still 19 years old, so there's a lot to come for him. In Turkey, Galatasaray, Osimhen was not in the squad as Galatasaray beat Göztepe 2-0 on Sunday. Their final league game will be this Sunday against Istanbul Basaksehir, just so you can see how interesting it is that we're playing games tomorrow and on Saturday. There's still some leagues going on. So Osimhen definitely could not have even been called up. Speaking of Göztepe, though, Anthony Dennis did play 45 minutes for Göztepe in that game, and he will end the season against Kasimpasa away. But Osayi-Samuel came off the bench for Fenerbahce yesterday as they lost 4-2 to Hatayspor. They're firmly in second place and they can't win the league anymore. So next up for them, they play Konyaspor at home. Also, David Okereke played 14 minutes as Gaziantep drew 2-2 against Kasimpasa on Sunday. Next up for them, they played Demirspor away on Sunday. One thing to also mention is the fact that Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray celebrated the league title over the weekend. Really, really amazing scenes to see. I'm sorry, not many clubs do celebrations as well as Galatasaray. It was their 25th league title. They had 5 stars, 1 for every 5 titles. The celebrations looked like they were like 1 million or 2 million people just in that place, just ready to celebrate the achievements of the team. Obviously, we'll be seeing Galatasaray in the Champions League next year, but it's very unlikely that Osimhen will not be there. But whatever happens, I want to hope, and I'm hoping that we'll see him play in the Champions League next season. He's only played in the Champions League twice in his career. I don't think that's good enough for his status. So fingers crossed he will either. I don't even mind if he plays for Arsenal's ops. Go and play for Chelsea. Because I don't know what's wrong with Arsenal. And all these shakara and I'm looking at Osimhen, talking about his character. If I slap you, good dirty character problem. So Chelsea, free run, go get him. It is what it is. I just want to watch him in the Premier League. Let's see what going on. Anyway, in Belgium, Arokodare played 76 minutes while Urasour played 14 as Genk beat Anderlecht 2-1 on Sunday. Arokodare officially finished as the top goal scorer in Belgium with 21 goals. So what an amazing achievement. And we saw the pictures of him celebrating his award yesterday with his family. So massive congratulations to Arokodare. As for Onyedika, he played 83 minutes as Club Brugge drew 1-1 against Royal Antwerp on Sunday. Very poor result because they had a chance to win the league, but congratulations to Union Saint-Gilloise. They have won the Belgian league title for the first time in 90 plus years. What an achievement. You know, this is a team that's so small. They literally were in the second division about 4 or 5 years ago, and they've just transformed themselves. And I mean, they're going to be playing Champions League football next year. So look out for that. And also look out for Onyedika in the summer. I'm not sure he will stay in Club Brugge. If he moves, I want to see him go to a top side in the top 5 leagues where he could ideally remain in the Champions League after establishing himself as a credible Champions League player this year. Also, Torunarigha has played his last game for Ghent. He missed the final 3 games due to an injury, and he thanked Ghent for all they've done for his career. I'm not sure where he's going to move. I haven't seen any rumors that I'm privy to. But anyway, those are all the roundups in terms of players performing for the week. Starboy of the week, I mean, it's slim pickings. I don't even have a bronze medal for you this week. Actually, let me give that bronze medal to Maduka Okoye. Even though Maduka Okoye lost 3-2 to Fiorentina, when you make 8 saves in a match as a goalkeeper, you've definitely done your job. So Maduka Okoye gets the bronze medal this week. As for the silver medal, I want to give it to Samuel Chukwueze for his great assist from the corner for AC Milan in a 2-0 win over Monza. And then gold medal this week, I want to give it to Christantus Uche for his assist for Getafe against Celta Vigo, which was his 6th assist for the season. And it was a fantastic goal by Bojo Ones to watch for this week, I mean, very, very simple. Nigeria play Ghana tomorrow. Our biggest rivals. Friendly or not, they say it's the Jollof Derby. No team matters to Nigeria apart from ourselves more than Ghana. We need to beat Ghana. I don't care if it's a friendly. I will do a preview where I'll touch on the Ghanaian squad. There's no reason Nigeria should not be winning this game. I'm sorry. So watch out for that game tomorrow. 7:45 p.m. kickoff is taking place in the Brentford G-Tech Stadium. I don't really know too much about the TV rights in Nigeria, but look out for the links. We'll try and tweet something out if we find one. And of course, on Sunday, Osimhen will be playing his last game for Galatasaray against Istanbul Basaksehir. So if you're not tired of watching football, watch Osimhen on Sunday. And of course, the Champions League final will be taking place on Saturday between Paris Saint-Germain and Internazionale. So look out for those games. So that's it in terms of the roundup for this week's episode, part 1 of episode 135. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigerian they ever carry last.